I'm sure Triv feels the same, but I'm not putting words in her mouth. So, Triv, what do you think?
Yeah, let's put something in Triv's mouth.
Oh God. I mean,
Let's talk about which you can't see it
Sexy.
because there's something right behind me. This was not supposed to be the setup, but anyway, we're gonna talk about Hellraiser, the new Hellraiser. We got a Hellraiser first look. Actually, Entertainment Weekly got a Hellraiser first look, and now we're looking at their first look. So whatever, I don't care.
is a secondhand first look?
Hulu, yeah, secondhand first look. Hulu forgot to call me and include me on the email. Unfortunately, this week,
Assholes.
I'll forgive you this time, Hulu. But all right, so I got some pictures and some stuff that the director had to say. Director David Bruckner, who is the director of the new Hulu Hellraiser film, said, "This is not a remake. I just didn't think you could ever remake the original Hellraiser. It's too much its own thing." And it would be, I think, perilous territory for filmmakers, because how do you top that? This is a new story in the Hellraiser universe. Now, I do want to comment on that. This is apparently at least somewhat based on I think it's called the Hellbound Heart. I think that's the book that Hellraiser was based off of, that Clive Barker based his film off of back in the day, which was also his book. He wrote the book. I think it's Hellbound Heart, but they're based on the same book. So yeah, it is kind of, they are going to be similar in that way. Now, I don't know how much, if this is a direct translation of that book or if it's just taking some inspiration. Have no idea, but it's a new film in the Hellraiser universe, as he says. He went on to say, "We felt a kind of anticipation around the fans to reimagine the character. We knew we wanted Pinhead to be a woman. Jamie Clayton was just the right person for the role. A person's identity can be really exciting for a role in many ways, but I have to emphasize that Jamie absolutely killed. That's how we got there." Now, what he's talking about is Jamie Clayton, who I know she's been in some other stuff, is the new Pinhead, is a quote-unquote female Pinhead. Now, my understanding is, I've not read the Hellbound Heart, but apparently in the original source material, Pinhead is neither male or female. He has been played by a man all these years, but for lack of a better term, he has been just kind of not had a gender. He's a demon or whatever he is, Cenobite. And they were going for that in this. And Jamie Clayton apparently is a transsexual person. I am not trying to be disrespectful. I do not know if Jamie Clayton was a man, was a woman, is now a man, is now a woman. I'm going to go with, say, her, because I'm not 100% sure. But either way, I've heard good things. I have heard that the fact they were playing up that Jamie Clayton is a trans person and in this role, but my understanding is the movie doesn't really play into like that specific fact. But it is good that this person is a trans person playing this character that is more or less neither or. So cool. I don't think the movie. I think I'm trying to say I don't think the movie's trying to be a message movie in that respect.
Right.
So he also went on to say that the Mask, which is a new character we're going to look at in a moment, is one of my favorite Cenobites, and it's just a tease of really what's to come as far as Cenobites are concerned. When asked about are there going to be more Cenobites besides, of course, the ones we know and love and this new Mask character, he says, "I think that's safe to say yes." He also said of Clive Barker, who this is, we had a bit of confusion a few weeks ago when we were talking about the announcement of the release date of this film. There are two Hellraiser projects being made right now, and I was thinking this was not the one that Clive Barker was involved in. Apparently this is the one that Clive Barker is involved in. And Bruckner said that Clive came on before the shoot when we were in prep and was really just a wonderful resource for me. He was really generous with his time and very welcoming of the idea that this was a new group of artists and that they were going to run with this and land in a different place, in different places with it. He was very supportive of that. Hellraiser premieres on Hulu on October 7th. Now, before we jump into these pictures I have of the new Hellraiser, what do you guys think of where do you guys land with Hellraiser as a whole and with this remake, reboot, redo, whatever it is?
Okay, so Hellraiser, I think fantastic. I love Hellraiser. I love Clive Barker in general. I love like a lot of his films, you know, especially Lord of Illusion and Midnight Meat Train. The whole idea of like, here's how I look at Hellraiser. Hellraiser is about fucking S&M flesh characters with needles and fucking all kinds of grotesque shit. The thing that people are gonna get all up in their panties and twist. Oh, why isn't this a man? Blah blah blah. Like you said, Cenobites are fucking neither. They're fucking, you know, characters of flesh. They fucking don't give it. It's like, as long as they deliver a good movie, I don't care if Jamie Clayton is playing New Pinhead or not. Cool. Like, you know, cool. I just want a good movie. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Like I said, as long as Clive Barker is involved with it, which makes it even better. But I don't give a shit who's playing Pinhead. You know, Doug Bradley's just he's kind of like I think he's like 60 or 70 years now. So it's kind of nice to see him like kind of move on from the character. But yeah,
he'd already moved on from the role, hadn't he? Wasn't there somebody else who played? Oh
yeah, there was. But for the most part, like I'm just saying, people are gonna be all up in arms about this new Pinhead because you know it's a trans woman. Blah blah blah. I'm like, just deliver a good movie. That's all I want.
Exactly.
You know, as long as it's yeah, that's all I care about. I'm sure Triv feels the same, but I'm not putting words in her mouth. So, Triv, what do you think?
Yeah, let's put something in Triv's mouth.
Oh God. I mean,
sorry, I couldn't help myself.
I'm actually pretty late to the Hellraiser franchise. Like I remember watching the first one as a kid, but it's one of those things where I didn't really pursue until I got a little bit older. So I know a lot of the people like any fandom, they get attached to the way things were, and I can't say that I have that for this. I think the new Pinhead looks really interesting, and it's not like there aren't other, and I know that Pinhead holds a specific place because it's Pinhead, but it's not like we haven't had other Cenobites, that they haven't been male, female, everything else. I think it looks interesting. You know, the thing is, whoever plays Pinhead, they're gonna have being able to separate the actor from the character. If it's a good performance, bring it on. If the makeup is good, bring it on. And honestly, considering the past couple Hellraiser movies, they can only go up from there. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah. The first three were pretty good. Then the rest were like, it's like getting into Leprechaun territory. It's like,
you know what? It's worse than that. It's Amityville. It's Amityville horror levels of insanity. I think there's like 33 of those or 32 of those.
There's a fucking Amityville shark movie.
There's also Amityville Vibrator, and they just came out with Amityville in Space.
I need to watch that. I'm with you guys on the Hellraiser stuff. I don't know about the Vibrator stuff, but probably did that too. But I'm with you guys.
Hitachi Power One.
Yeah, with the performance. It's all about the if she does or if she puts in a good performance. Who cares? I mean, Doug Bradley, like you said, he already pieced out on the part anyway. I do feel like Pinhead is an iconic horror villain, if you will. So yeah, anytime you change, you know, look what happened when Jackie Earl Haley took over for Freddy, and I guess there's been others. You know, Jason and Michael Myers are masked characters. We got a little bit of the Kane Hodder, you know, fans coming out when he didn't play Jason, and I get that, but you know, it's a little bit harder to tell with them because they're wearing masks like Michael Myers and Jason. But when you have these characters that have a very noticeable like look to the actor, Robert Englund and this character of Pinhead, I get why people are kind of like, you know, it's changing. But maybe this movie should blow us away, and it'll be like, yes, perfect, you did it just right. So I'm reserving judgment. I will say that on the prosthetic side of things, like the look of the character, they got it. Let's take a look at some pictures. This one right here behind me, I'm gonna remove myself real quick so we can see it. Actually, I gotta remove.
Finally, he's removing himself, Triv.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all
Jake,
us now.
the one thing I will say about, and I know this is a moot point, but I'm just bringing it up because I'm gonna bring it up. At least the character isn't CGI Doug Bradley the way they did with like Princess Leia and Grand Moff Tarkin and some of those guys.
Yep, you got that. There you go. At least it's not CGI. So I think we can all agree that that's a better move. But here's what Jamie Clayton looks like as the character. Let me move this. Bam. I think it looks good. I mean, it looks like it's practical work. I'm down with it. I mean, it looks like Pinhead. I mean, you see that, you definitely know. Yep, that's Pinhead. So I'm cool with this. I don't mind that Doug Bradley's not there. Now, granted, I don't have an affinity for Hellraiser like some people do. I like the second Hellraiser movie. And the first one I like, but there are moments in it that I'm just like, this movie makes me feel dirty. It doesn't scare me so much, but it's very Texas Chainsaw Massacre in that way, and I've talked about that before. I respect the movie, but it's just kind of like, I feel kind of gross. I think that's the point of the movie, especially the first one. You're supposed to feel kind of gross. I don't know. I don't hate it. I just kind of like, yeah,
the mattress
Hellraiser
alone, you know?
Yeah,
Oof.
the mattress.
Oof.
I respect it. But I do enjoy the second one. I grew up with the second one, and I watched it quite a bit. And all the ones after that, I saw some of them. Like, I think they went to space and everything. They kind of lost me after the second one. There was one that took place in New York, I think. I think that was the third one. I don't remember. They really went down after that, because I think Clive Barker was not involved anymore after that. If I could be wrong, but I don't think so. But yeah, this new one. Let's look at some of the other. We had a few other pictures. We have, let's see, we got this one here. I'm not sure who this character is, but I'm assuming this is our main heroine of the film. And then we also have, let's see, this is The Mask. You can't really see it very well. Hellraiser's always been kind of dark. This is the new Cenobite, The Mask. If you look, you squint your eyes real good, you can see, let me zoom it in a bit. Nope, not like that. Let's see, can we...
I mean, it certainly looks interesting. It's kind of an albino Cenobite.
We see it's like a person's face grafted on there. It looks kind of. So
yeah, it looks like a robot.
Yeah, it's and I mean it looks very Cenobite. I see it and I'm like, yeah, that would be, if I ran into that on a dark alley, I would be scared. And then we have this picture of a guy, and I think that's the puzzle box. It looks like what he's got there.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, that's awesome.
Which it looks very. Let's zoom in on it just a little bit.
It looks like it did in Hellraiser 2.
Yeah, and I know that the puzzle box does transform, so maybe it isn't. That's less of a box, more of a diamond-looking thing. Maybe that's mid-transformation. I don't know. But there's our Pandora's box, or puzzle box, that is iconic with the Hellraiser franchise as well. So I mean, it all looks good. I mean, the look of the film. We haven't had an official. We have a teaser that doesn't really show much, but just from the set photos and stuff like that, it all looks good. It doesn't look cheap. I'll give it that. So I'm interested to see this. I'm not. I probably will be less offended by some of the changes than some other people, like hardcore Hellraiser fans. But I am interested to see this, and it sounds like they're moving in the right direction. It sounds like Bruckner has a love of the property, and I think that's what you need. And Clive Barker signed off on it, so. Hey, right on. It sounds like they are changing some things, but they're still keeping to enough of the things that the fans will love. But what do you guys? Are you looking forward to this? Based on those pictures and what we said here today, do you think that this is a good move for them, or do you think this is going to be an absolute disaster? And how do you think that the fans, the horror community that are big into Hellraiser, how do you think they're going to take it? I'm going to go Triv first.
You know, I'm a bad person to ask, because there's a lot of this stuff, like, I love it, but it's not like I didn't have that affinity of, oh, it's been with me since I was, 10 years old. I think that if it's done right, a good chunk of the horror community will look at it and go, you know what? Because there's been so many bad remakes, you kind of go in with a certain level of, not cynicism, like kind of a holding back until you see the first thing of it. There are those people that are never going to be satisfied because it's not Doug Bradley, because it's not the same movie that came out in the 80s, I guess. But I think it looks good. I'm not probably gonna jump at the first sign of it to go watch it, but I will see it and I'll be excited to see it. So that's kind of where I stand with it.
Well, it is coming to Hulu, so you won't have to go far to watch it.
No, I know. I don't right now, so I have to, put in all the credit card stuff.
Maybe you can watch it with us.
So I am intrigued. I gotta watch the trailer first. That's how I look at it before I make an honest decision of this movie. But if it looks as much fun as like something like Prey, where they took a property and made it like really fun and cool and interesting and unique, I'm on board with that. I'll also say, like I said with Prey, if this movie is good, it should have been in the theaters. I don't know what Disney's doing because this is Disney. Disney owns Hulu, so it's a Disney thing.
Yeah,
which is
true.
crazy to think about. Yeah, so if this is how I look at it. Clive Barker has been screwed a lot in his life when it comes to his films, especially Midnight Meat Train, and he's working on this, and it's going straight to Hulu. Now this movie sucks. Cool, it went straight to Hulu. We don't have to worry about it. But if it's good and it didn't come to theaters, it's disappointing. But I gotta wait to see the trailer before I make my decision on if this movie looks good.
Well, I wanted to say, you guys both, and we'll get to what you were going to say, but you guys both mentioned, or I know Nick, you specifically did mention some of Clive Barker's previous work. But there was one thing, my favorite Clive Barker thing, that was not mentioned by anybody, and that's Nightbreed. I fucking love Nightbreed.
I forgot about that one. Yeah,
Nightbreed is awesome.
Oh, that's it. I actually completely forgot that was a Clive Barker movie.
Yes, that movie is. I've loved that movie since it came out. And there's so many. There's like 15 different cuts of it, and there's the Cabal cut and all that. And I think they finally, like, the ultimate cut is being worked on or something. I love that fucking movie. So give me something like Nightbreed, and I'm down because I fucking love Nightbreed. Nightbreed was awesome.
We can't forget Candyman.
Oh,
did he Did he direct Candyman?
I think I know he wrote it. He did not direct it.
Yeah, he didn't direct
Lord of Illusion.
He did. He had a part to play in it. So yeah, or he wrote it or whatever. But yeah, so Clive Barker, really, iconic guy. This is he's not making this, but he has put his stamp of approval on it, so hopefully it does not disappoint. Let us know, are you looking forward to Hellraiser? What do you think of these pictures? Do you think this is going to be a disaster, or are you just really hyped for October 7th? Because it's right around the corner. We're going to see this in actually a little over a month. Things are looking good for Hellraiser. Let us know what you think in the comments below.